action and reaction, trial and error, discovering a formula that works. Selling is an action business. With the right formula, you can make things happen. And it is challenging. No two customers are ever exactly the same. And because no two people are alike, the wants and needs of every customer will always be somewhat different. Your success as a salesperson will depend on a variety of factors, like the first impression you make through your attitude and appearance, or how well you're prepared to discuss your product and match it to the needs of each customer. Because when you really think about it, satisfied customers are what it's all about. They are the best advertising, best source of repeat and referral business. In short, the foundation for a successful sales career. What you've just witnessed was the step-by-step formula for sales success. The selling process. And just as cars are assembled in a precise manner that has been tested by engineers, professional salespeople also follow a series of steps. A success formula. Today, our sales experts will review with you the 10 distinct steps in this formula. The selling process. Your ability to understand and utilize each step can prove mathematically beneficial to you. With fewer walks, increased sales, and a higher level of customer satisfaction. The 10 steps are easy to identify, and we're all aware of them to some degree. But watch how they flow one to another to create a dynamic, workable process. Prospecting is the first step. Locating and contacting people who are in the market for a new vehicle. Obviously, you can't sell anything without a customer. The next step is to properly meet and greet them, make them comfortable, and put them at ease. Finding the vehicle that best satisfies the wants and needs of your customers is qualifying, the third step. The answers to your questions help you to move your customer in the right direction. Then, once you and your customer agree on the vehicle, you begin to sell a specific vehicle. It's smart to present the features and benefits that you found out were important during the qualifying step. A demonstration drive is the sixth step. For the first time, your prospect takes mental ownership of the car. Without a demo drive, you lose a chance to give them that ownership feeling, and maybe you lose a chance to sell a car. Negotiating a fair price acceptable to the customer and the dealership is step number 7. And securing a firm commitment or closing the deal is step number 8. Thoroughly inspecting the car yourself before you release it makes the golden moment of delivery the exciting and rewarding experience it ought to be. And keeping in touch, taking care of your customers will guarantee their satisfaction and generate repeat and referral business. Sound familiar? Probably. Being aware of these 10 steps and being sure to follow each step with each prospect is the game plan that will put you in the major leagues of professional sales. This program presents an overview of each of the steps, explains how they relate and why they're important. You'll hear from people like yourself, sales managers and salespeople alike, and also from customers whose experiences are true to life. You'll see examples of some right ways and wrong ways of handling customers throughout the selling process. And at selected points, we'll ask questions to review the steps of the actual selling process. Where are they? And how do you make contact to determine if they're in the market for a new vehicle? We all know that walk-in traffic doesn't generate all the business you can handle. So step number 1 in the selling process is prospecting, locating people in the market for a new vehicle. It makes sense that the more people you know, the more prospects you can develop. Your friends, neighbors, and relatives are all potential prospects. So are the people from clubs, organizations, your church, or your bank. So is your child's teacher, your mailman. Even he will buy a car someday. A lot of people refer to this as your circle of influence. People that can become familiar, loyal clientele. For the professional salesperson, prospecting is continuous. Successful prospecting requires determination and follow-through. Telling people at a party you sell cars or suggesting that your cousin tell his boss to drop in sometime isn't enough. You've got to pick up the phone and make appointments. Don't ever forget that the telephone can be your best friend, so be sure to use it that way.
We got a call from a local salesman, and I was very impressed with it. There was no hard sell or anything. Just if you're interested, stop by and talk to me. So I stopped by and talked to him and bought a car.
You've got to contact new leads immediately and mail regularly to previous customers. You need to keep good records, keep them updated, and regard every contact as a fresh, new opportunity.
And if you don't call within 24 hours, there's a lot of things that they can think about in that period of time, and they may raise another objection.
The idea is to get them back in fast, because within 72 hours they're either going to buy or be out of the market, one or the other.
I think it's important to get to them within 24 hours, and if you send them a letter, I think sometimes it's too late.
The odds of you selling that person when you get them in the dealership from you calling them on the telephone are a lot greater than when they would just walk in off the street.
And that has happened several times where I've called someone back and they've come back and said, I've been to 4 or 5 dealerships in the last 3 days. You're the first individual who took a real interest in selling me a car.
I like to walk back in the service department, which we hadn't even mentioned, but it's a tremendous source of prospects.
The cleaners, the grocery store, the plumber, the news girl, the newsboy.
The body shop manager, every time he has a total, will come up front and tell us, give us the name of the person who totaled the car.
Oh, it is a fun business. And if you don't make it that, it can really be your undoing.
I'm a salesperson 24 hours a day.
I think it can be fun. I think it can be enjoyable. And if it isn't, you should make it enjoyable. It's your livelihood.
On the surface, it might seem like a small thing, but the way you meet and greet every individual sets the stage for the rest of the selling process. You have only one chance to make a good first impression. And if you come across as someone pleasant and sincerely interested in a prospect, you'll have an easier selling task today and repeat customers tomorrow.
When my wife and I walked into the dealership and a salesman came toward us, we knew right away that this was probably a guy we could deal with.
Oh, he seemed okay. He's a typical salesman.
He didn't try to enthusiastically sell me anything. He just left it up to me to... I wasn't that favorably impressed with him.
First impression. What's the customer's first impression of the dealership? And that is obviously his confrontation with a salesperson.
From that very start, the salesman is attempting to sell himself.
You know, they're sometimes surprised to see a woman in the car business. And it's a great opener to be able to say, good morning, how can I help you today? And they say, yes, I'd like to talk to somebody, this salesman, about buying a car. And my next response is, well, how about a saleswoman?
I think if you walk up there with a smile on your face and just let them know that you're genuine interested in the person, not so much the car, but the person themselves.
Warm, friendly, and establishing a common ground.
Courtesy, patience, warmth. Every customer is different, but every customer will respond to being treated with respect. Meeting and greeting is the step where you sell yourself, and you have to sell yourself before you can sell a car.
I try to treat him like I'd want to be treated myself.
Information. You must have information about your customer in order to determine which vehicle best satisfies his needs. The more information you get, the better job you can do in helping to select the right vehicle. If you properly qualify your customer, that is, dig out the facts on what he needs, wants, and is capable of buying, the chances of landing him on the right vehicle are a lot better. Qualifying means asking questions and listening to the answers.
Listen to what the customer has in mind before you assume that that customer is interested in that specific car just because you happen to come up to him when he was looking at that particular car.
Customer usually dictates to you and tells you how you're going to sell him a car, what kind of car you're going to sell him.
Let him tell you what he wants. You don't have to tell a customer. He'll tell you what he wants.
Each individual has his own story, and your ability to relate to his lifestyle and circumstances should help you direct that person to the vehicle that best fulfills his needs.
There's a lot more than just listening, though. There's looking, too, because you learn a lot from, for example, his trade-in. You learn a lot about, his current driving habits, how he takes care of a car, How long has it been since he's bought an automobile?
By the way, I should add that qualifying continues throughout the selling process. It doesn't stop until you and the customer reach your final goal, the vehicle he wants and is qualified to buy today. Your skill at qualifying is critically important to this fourth step of the selling process. As you continue to probe and ask questions, your objective should be to determine your customer's wants and needs. You'll find out which features are important and which are not. This will help you narrow down the choices. And once you put all the pieces together, the puzzle is solved. And you should be able to obtain your customer's agreement on the model selected. Because if you think about it, it wouldn't make sense to present a product until the customer has agreed that this is the model he wants. Now you're ready to give him a detailed look. In presenting the product, be sure to highlight the features you found out were important to the customer. Some salespeople use a 6-position presentation and find it to be a very logical way to effectively make a product presentation.
A new salesperson, I've observed, welcomes the 6-position selling concept. And I tell them, if you can memorize or bring up 3 features per position, or 6 times 3 is 18 features, that's a start.
Let them get back from it. Tell them to get back. Get back 4 or 5 feet away from the car. Take a look at that. Let them feel it. When they get the feel of the car, then they're right there.
Have them sit in it. You know, let them smell it. There's nothing greater than smelling, you know, a new car.
Let them touch the bumper rub strips. Show them how it goes all the way around the front bumpers and the bumper guards. And watch his eyes follow your hands. Then you know he's listening to you, too.
After talking and qualifying the customer, he's related things to us that he feels are very important to him in that car. And we seem to want to hit on those items that he feels are important in that car.
They usually say, well, geez, you know, how much room do I have in that trunk? Or how does the hatch work? And then follow it, you know, around. You may not go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You may start at 6 and bounce to 4 or whatever, but I think it all, you know, is completed.
He didn't know what was standard on the car versus optional, and some things that he asked me if I wanted it on the car were indeed standard, and I already knew that.
But he was able to answer a question that actually very few people other than him seem to know the answer to.
It's the people side of the business you want to perfect and know enough of the product to come across as an authority.
It's absolutely imperative that you know the product. And if you know the product, it also gives you control of the sale. And you have to stay in control of the sale.
Your ability to get agreement and present your product with knowledge and confidence will spark your customer's belief that he or she has found the right salesperson and the right car. Automotive sales experts agree that one demonstration can be worth 1,000 words. But whether this is good or bad depends on how well you handle this crucial 5th step in the selling process. Demonstrating allows the customer to experience the feel and smell of a new car. Now, if you ask your customer if he would like to go for a drive, he might very well say no. So, don't ask. Simply announce it, assume it, and be prepared for it. There are several proven techniques for conducting an effective demo drive. The 8-point demo plan covers these techniques very well. You should always drive first to warm up the car and help the customer get acquainted with the key features and options. Then follow a planned route. Keep the round trip to 15 minutes at the most and try to include a variety of traffic and road conditions. All or most of the turns you make should be right turns. They're easier. Don't forget to drive safely, watch for pedestrians, use your turn signals, and obey the laws. Selling the benefits means explaining to your customer how the features and options will be convenient and helpful to them. Then demonstrate them. About halfway through the drive, stop and let the customer take a fresh look at their new car and let them drive back to the dealership. On the return trip, stop talking and just listen. Give directions and answer questions. Point 7, observe, look for body language and buying signals that confirm your customer wants this car. Make the transition smoothly from the demo drive into the closing area by saying something like, "If I can get you the right price on this car today, will you take it?"
That's when they take ownership of that car. Driving it makes them feel like it's their car.
And then he let us take it out and drive it around. It was very good. When I came back, I was sold.
Just taking them out there, getting in the car, letting the customer drive the car is one of the biggest things that you can do.
I wouldn't have bought it without a demo drive. You can't spend $10, $11, $12,000 on something that you aren't really sure is going to do what you're looking for it to do.
Once you get that excitement up about the new car, I'll tell you, it's you're controlling the sale and you're on your way then.
The next step in the selling process should come naturally. Negotiating is not a shouting match. But keep in mind that the goal of negotiation is mutual satisfaction. In selling cars, this means that both you and your customer are satisfied with the car and its price. In order to stay cool, you need to know how to play the game.
You have to figure out a game plan between yourself and your manager. And I always go back to my manager because two heads are always better than one.
It's a game. It's like playing chess. And some salespeople get a lot of fun out of negotiating.
I think you have to go in to any negotiation totally cognizant of the fact that you must justify your price at all times.
You've got a customer that is very, very active in that car. He wants to buy that car. And one of the things that happens is that I would like the customer himself, to justify the price.
What we fail to realize that mentally, even though the customer doesn't say it, he will move himself up the same time as you're coming down.
You're assuming all this time, and you're hoping he's assuming that that car's already sold. He's already bought the car. Now we're going to go in there and complete the sale or finish negotiation and get it written up to take to the manager for his approval. And I think it's important to forget about the price for a few minutes. Get it off your mind.
The selling process is also a buying process. As a skilled and sincere negotiator, you'll make your customers feel satisfied with the price you both agreed upon. And that puts you in scoring position. There are a few more questions coming up for you now, and no curveballs. Getting a commitment is what closing is all about. This 8th step in the selling process is the moment of truth for the professional salesperson. It's been said that too many salespeople spend 90% of their time trying to close and only 10% in qualifying. And that if they worked it the other way around, they'd improve their closing ratio. To close a deal, both parties should be convinced they're doing the right thing. So when you believe it's time to cement the relationship, you should know what tools you have at your disposal.
But you have to ask for the order. You must ask for it. And you can do that by just assuming that they are already predisposed to buying the automobile, asking when would you like delivery.
I've seen a sale made, for instance, in negotiating by simply throwing in a pair of floor mats.
And making him feel that by buying a car from me is the best thing that he can do.
Just before we close, we do have a shop walk. We do take them through our service department. We do take them down to the body shop.
We use the service department and the dealership itself to help close a lot of deals, and I think it's closed a lot of deals for us.
It's amazing sometimes how little it takes to make a sale.
As simple as deliveries may seem, not everyone pays as much attention to them as they should. I want you to meet Henry Lupus, a friend of mine. He's been through a rough time. Here's why.
I just want you to know it's been a pleasure, a real pleasure doing business with you. I know you'll love your new car, and I'm sure you'll be real happy with the performance. I've got the keys right here, and you guys can get right on your way. I know you're probably in a rush. I know that I am, so here you are. Enjoy.
The delivery is your big chance to make a friend of your customer. But you have to make certain you're properly prepared before your customer arrives. This means a thorough pre-delivery. Pre-delivery and delivery got Henry into big trouble. But fortunately, he had friends in high places to help him out.
So what's so important about pre-delivery anyway?
During pre-delivery, you get all your necessary paperwork together. The sales agreement, the financial papers, owner's manual, the warranty papers, tire warranty, extended service plan information, even the mileage statement. Next, you put it all into an orderly package waiting for your customer's approval and signature. The idea here, Henry, is to make picking up a new car a pleasurable and orderly experience.
I get it. Maybe that's why my customers don't ever smile at me.
Watch, Henry. During pre-delivery, you inspect the entire exterior of the car. Check the moldings, the fit, and the finish. Make sure all the pieces look good together. And above all, make sure the car shines. People don't buy a new car every day.
I get it. Make it special.
Right. And while you're inspecting the exterior of the car, open and close all the doors. Check the locks. Raise and lower the windows. Check the lights and turn signals. Check all the equipment. Check the trunk or hatchback. Make sure it goes up and down easily. Everything should work. Then, when you're all set, take the car out of the prep bay and go for a short spin around the dealership. Check the way it handles, feels, and rides. And check the gas gauge. If it's equipped with speed control, make sure it works properly. And if everything feels and handles right, you're ready to deliver the car. Delivery, the most important part of a new car sale. I like to call it the golden moment. Why, it's the last time you'll see your customer personally in quite a while. So it's important that you make a lasting impression.
When I went to pick up the car, he was busy with another customer, and he made me wait for about 45 minutes.
I really was on a tight schedule, had all afternoon booked and everything, and it took me about 3 hours to get out of that dealership.
When that man walks in, you're ready for him. Don't make him stand around and wait.
At least take an hour of my day to deliver the car and make sure the car is done the proper time. And also make sure, like you say, the paperwork is always up there right in front so that you can take care of that customer.
He ran through the owner's manual with me and explained the warranty to me, things like that. I was satisfied with it. He took some time with me.
He was very good about explaining to me exactly what was covered by the warranty, what wasn't.
I make sure that the interior is spotless. I feel that those people that are buying the car from me want to get it dirty first.
The vehicle must be prepared right. Any small problem with the vehicle can really take some of that excitement away.
That satisfied customer you've now acquired is going to require some special attention and follow-up. This is the final step in the selling process, the step that carries you to the top as a successful salesperson. What do you get by following up? You get loyalty. You build a clientele who will come back to you for their transportation needs and think of you when their friends or relatives are in the market for a new car.
My family, my mother has bought a car from this guy.
When you do find somebody that you trust and that you feel is working in your behalf as well as in his boss's behalf, I think you stick with him if you can.
And when I give my card, if there's any problems that you have with the car, please let me know as soon as possible.
All my customers get birthday cards, not only on the car, but on themselves.
82% of the people that buy cars today, 82% forget who they bought it from a year later.
I pay finder's fee. You know, I let them know that if they help me out, I'm going to help them out too.
I ended up with enough of a favorable impression of him that I went back to him later on. And although he had moved to another dealership at the time, I followed into the other dealership and purchased 3 different cars from him. So over a period of years, I bought 4 cars from this gentleman.
If you build a good owner body by follow-up, and that's how you build a good owner body, someday you'll be able to sit in that showroom and not have to take as many ups as you used to take because your owner body itself takes care of you over the years.
And to not take that little extra time to follow up with them, to make sure that they are happy with that decision, help them remember who you are, to turn those statistics in your favor so that 82% do remember, I think you're just wasting your time in the business.
As you've seen, the selling process is a formula that works to the benefit of both the salesperson and the buyer. Prospecting, using your circle of influence, brings you more business and a higher percentage of sales. Then, your friendly greeting, neat appearance, and positive attitude will make that all-important good first impression. Qualifying, the customer will be flattered at your sincere interest, and your questions will provide the answers you need to help them choose the car that's right for them. By listening carefully to what they say, you'll get agreement on a particular model. Then your product knowledge, plus knowing what's important to that customer, will let you present the vehicle to its best advantage. A well-planned demo drive can do more than anything else to reinforce the customer's interest and build his desire to purchase the vehicle. By the time you're both ready to negotiate, he'll know you're someone he wants to do business with. Be sure to leave yourself room to be flexible. At the close, you may simply need to ask one more question to get that final all-important yes, and always reassure the customer he's made a good decision. Properly preparing, inspecting, and delivering the car personally lets you share in the customer's excitement. And he'll be glad to hear from you when you follow up by telephone and mail. And aren't those referrals you'll get just one more way of prospecting? So you see, the selling process has come full circle. And when you do it right, it's dynamite.